Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2. You know how we do. Hold on, though. Pen, paper. I'm gonna take notes. Get ready for me. Let's go. All right, all right, all right. Lord African Minds presents The Truth Changes the Narrative, and we're here tonight. Our original host, our prayers go out to you, D. Dan and Latoya. They had to handle some business, y'all know, but they on the team though, and so y'all know what we do at Lord African Minds. We take it for the team. We got soulmates tonight with you, me, one of them, Taki. We got Queen Maisha in the house, and the Ansubu is in the room. And we just want to say to our other soulmates out there, the original hosts of this show that had to do something, we got your back. So tonight, if I understand correctly, we're going to kick back a little bit and just get real. Is that today's agenda, as I understand it? I'll be having to check, because, you know, last night I was like thrown for a move. I was like, whoa, wait, what? I got to make sure my kids is where they need to be, just like the Queen said last night. But am I right about the subject? We just gonna kick it and be real, and Subu back in and out. You know how they try to block
us. I need another minute to finish doing my thing over here. Tonight we having an open discussion. The pros and cons of voting, pros and cons of Kamala Harris, what Pan-African is, what is not, what Lord African Minds is, what is not, what Maisha, Queen Maisha doing and what she's not, you know, what Taiki's doing, what's not, what have I done, what I'm not going to do. We just got an open discussion. We just hear, y'all going to hear us talking to each other, and we're going to be talking to y'all, and just, you know, family. We just, you know, just real talk, you know, until we get Latoya and D-Dan come out the back. We're going to be sitting here making it happen, because the truth changes the narrative. And one thing you can count on us to do tonight is give you some truth. That's what we're gonna do. We don't do that now. So new Maki WAWWA King Angelina and Super. I'll be back in 2.2, as Chuck Willis used to say on Love Connection, because I love the African in you.
No, it was real good that they didn't even throw the static this time on your microphone, bruh, like they usually do on that vibration. I did some corrections to the system as well, so I don't know. Did the mute? I can't even tell because I'm not hooked up to certain things that I'm usually hooked up with, because I wanted to just have more time to kick back and be real with people instead of having to worry about the back controls as much. But I don't know if y'all heard the music, if it was better in the beginning, and I can't even see y'all on the Facebook Live because that screen is not up. You know, it's something when the internet company locks your IP address because they see too much traffic, I guess, coming from your IP address. So, but okay, we on. So, Queen, while we're talking, last night's show, I was not ready for that. Hold on. Okay, you're not muted, but I can't hear you. Hold on. I can't hear you, Queen. Okay, something is definitely wrong with my sound. Hold on, right when I was saying it was good, now it wants to mess up. Let's see here. Turn this one off. Okay, go ahead and talk, Queen. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. Got the volume all the way up.
Okay, maybe the Queen need to go out and come back in.
Okay, that might be the case. She did. I think that's what she did. Was y'all able to hear the music this time without it going in and out? I can't tell.
So, yes, salute to Marcus Garvey, salute to Black August, salute to George Jackson, salute to the Black Power movement. Okay, yeah, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Let's see if the Queen is in, connecting. See if her audio is in. You see, I'm armed up today, y'all. Unmute your mic, Queen. We still can't hear. Did you hook up to Bluetooth or something?
You have headphones plugged into your, how about Bluetooth?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, so in out of Marcus Garvey, I got the Lord After Mind document, some information about the Lord After Mind. I would like to read information about Lord After Mind / Joint African Market. Low African Minds is a system of spiritual principles organized to create minds that are loyal to Africa. So, in breaking this down, they took us from Africa. For those who roots have been took from Africa, I know some people were Moors on those ships that came over here. Some of you Moors was already here. Some of y'all was already Native American here. We know many West African groups have settled in this region and dealt with Asiatic groups. That's why America was a land of original people from different locations. It was a trading ground. It was a trading ground, and it was a place to find new minerals and resources. But for those who feel the infinite imprint of Africa in their DNA and RNA. You know, lower African minds identify our loyalty to Mother Africa. And from that, we represent the whole earth, you know, because we know that when they call the place Nubara, which they call Pangea today in their science, that we spread it out in the rainforests of all continents, while we find Afro-melanated people in every rainforest before they start hunting us down 600 years ago. And they almost completed their mission by exterminating the blue black, the black black, and the purple black people of the planet. Now you have a amalgamated look of brown, tan, gold, black is red, and all the others. But let me get back into the Lower African mind thing. We got many different discussions that's going to be coming up. Lower African mind is a system of spiritual principles organized to create minds that are loyal to Africa. Our mission is to live in harmony with Mother Earth according to our biorhythms. That's something that's unique to us. Our biorhythms and the Mother Earth biorhythms, they go in sync. That's that pineal gland is for. That's that pituitary gland is for. You know, it keeps us in sync with each other, keeps us in sync and harmony with this planet. Let's see if our queen got in today. Unmute yourself, queen.
All right, is that better?
Much better.
You in there. You in there.
All right.
You in there. So welcome, my people. Welcome to Queen Maisha for joining us today. We got Africa C. Williams and Leslie Hunter in the audience. You know, two of our loyal, most faithful and trusted fans and members of Lower African Minds. You know, that went to the webpage and joined the membership. Which is very simply easy because I heard the brother say yesterday he went in and troubleshooted it and made it adjustable. Where, you know, I think even teenagers and our adolescents can go in there and hook their stuff up with Lower African Mind membership. So I'm going to go over this right quick before we get into some topic. Lower African Minds goal is to help, heal, renew the original families of Earth, Black people / African. Our purpose is to reactivate our souls within the laws of mind, which is our physics and our physical being. In order to become part of Lower African Minds, you will be working together for social success of Lower African Minds' future generations, and by building institutions that our children will inherit as a heritage to continue the legacy of African ingenuity. The three tools we need to use for the in-depth view of the past is 1, spiritual culture, 2, social economics, and 3, academical creativity. Let me go into that. Spiritual culture, we know the African continent, everything that culture had something to do with spiritual connection. The spirit that we're talking about is not the hocus pocus spirit, but that innate part of your being, right, that connects you to the universe, the galaxy, the solar system, the planet, and nature itself. Its spirit was not some place you can drift off to and sit God on the throne. Spirit is happening at all times on all levels. And that's how the Africans looked at it. 2, social economics. The wealth inside the African economical system was to sustain the village, the clan, the family, the nation, the state. That's how wealth was looked at. If you notice, Africans had treasuries throughout all the areas of the continent, and it'd be a place that was unprotected, didn't have no guards, nothing, and all the treasures from generations and generations would be in this little house, or this hut, of this corral, of this institution. And the Europeans came and just proliferated and took it, told us we didn't do shit, but all that shit is on museums. And now they told us that shit was backwards and was evil, but it's all over the museums. It's in the Chinese museum, the Indian museum, throughout Europe, throughout North America and South America. everybody want a piece of the African wealth, or what we call artifacts or treasures. So that's how our social economic did that. It was there for everybody, and we didn't have nobody trying to go steal nothing. We were like on a different frequency. And last but not least, academical creativity. In Africa, academics was not about a teacher, an instructor, a doctor, or a master, or a professor talking at you. The academical part of African creativity was for you to go inside yourself and to go into your imagination, right, which was the image of the nation, and find out what's going to work for us. Meaning they didn't produce things that was like individualized, that you can go brag on. I got a new Nike, and only me and Kumba got one, or me and Timothy got one. They manufactured and produced things that was necessary for the tribe, for the family, for the village. And that's a Pan-African mind. A Pan-African mind is a healthy mind that sees the family first. The family is what endures. And the reason I'm saying this to you, brothers and sisters, if you pick up a white woman, if you pick up an Asian or a European, some people like to say white, a Native American, Indian, that's not the end of life. It's not the end of life, but it is the breaking down of the genetic code of the spirit of the Black or the African people. And so Pan-African is saying, hey, there's enough Black people who've been through enough shit for us to turn to each other and to renew our strength, to renew our spirituality, to share in our own social economics. And this is why it's important inside the African mind for us to learn the Ubusu Saba and to understand Sokofa, that we can turn around and look what we've been through to get to where we need to go. It's very important for us to stand on the square of my eyes and to today confess, I have not killed, I have not stolen, I have not committed these heinous things that no society needs. It was just a way for us to reassure ourselves as a nation, as a state, as a family, that we're on the right track. Regardless of what any foreigner, or alien, or outside influence might think, we as African people, we had a spiritual essence to each other, and we liked it to be in balance and harmony with life itself. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to take one more minute and I'll finish it. I'll pass the mic on. Inside Lord Command, we will examine the present conditions in our African community and focus on the social economics. Yes, this is a capitalist country, right? So our social economics, that we got people standing in line for iPhones, standing in line for brand new Nikes, right? And won't stand in line to go purchase something from a Black business. So we have to examine that, the present condition of our African communities. Like, where is our thought? Queen Maisha, and the reason I bring this up, sliding in smooth, because Queen Maisha, who I love, that's my sister, and Chief Taki, the Grand High Tech, that's my brother. But focusing, no, even him, Taki, he's doing a lot of different businesses, and he deals with networks with a lot of business. But Queen Maisha, I'll say it to you again, I think it's before, she specifically wants to go around interviewing Black businesses, put them on the platform, allow them to speak their truth, so we can find out where they at, how they got started, why they doing it, and how supporting them also support the African American community, or the African community, or the Black community. I mean, someone is so prejudiced of different words that I have to say a whole list, but I'm going to turn that over with that part, right? Social economics being part of the greatness of us. Queen Maisha, Brother Taki, the floor is yours.
I'll let the Queen go first.
Yeah, I think in creating, flipping the Black dollar amongst the Black business owner. Yeah, I think it is very important to let us know where we're at. If we do want to spend money And it's very important for us to spend money amongst ourselves, to create wealth amongst ourselves. But what is disheartening to me is, oh, I'll just stop right there. So I was talking to someone that I talk to often about our issues as Black people and things that we need to do and progress we've made and stuff that we're a little bit slow on when it comes to progress. And I don't know how the progress is with us flipping our dollars amongst Black business. And it makes me kind of sad because I surround myself with people like everyone on this panel. So I don't know if I'm getting the illusion that we are progressing with flipping our dollars amongst each other, or if we have a long ways to go and there needs to be another building block before we think we could just have advertisement of Black business and we're all going to flock there. Now, a lot of us do give our money to Black businesses, especially if we have that option to go to A or go to B. But I think a lot of us don't even have that mindset. So again, I surround myself with like-minded people. So it makes me kind of have the illusion. It makes me confused on what is really going on. Are we really? What do we need to do? And I think that in what we need to do, if it is an illusion, if we really, now that we are making progress, I'm not going to say that because a lot of Black business owners, but I really truly think in our community to really get something done, we need to fix this and we need to know what's in here. I think that's what we're missing. I think we need to, and that's the part that maybe you guys can fill in on. How do we fix this where we can let each other know, like, you have this certain amount of money, but you'd rather take it here than bring it back to us. So I work in the educational system, and often I have Black students around me, and of course in our community, Air Jordans are the thing that is somehow stamped into our culture. Air Jordans. So I always explain when this comes up, in China, Air Jordans cost $16 to make, and how much are those shoes on your feet? Oh, I paid $150. I paid $200. You just got, right? You just got, right? And it's kind of like it's still not registering. It's like, but they Jordans though. But it's like it's not click like 16,200, 16,200. I'm just kind of like, I'm done. What you guys have to say? What's the missing? What's that missing piece to get this moving? And the other things too. I talk about spending dollars amongst ourselves and how we need to create wealth and how we need to buy up things if it's necessary. And I'm just looked at with the blank stare.
Exactly. And so before I pass it to Taiki, because the document that I was reading, and you spoke on a high quality issue, because in the document, information about law and market, it says we will examine the present conditions in our African community and focus on socio-economic. And then it also says institutional structures and the industrial technology progress. It will create an agenda that will tackle the need for the development of the African community in future projections. And so we need to develop an institutional structure. The Chinese have developed an institutional structure, Vietnamese, the Mexicans, they have an institutional structure because they have development association, which allows them to have resources, which allows them to create strip malls or have corridors in different towns or cities. And it allows them to advertise inside their businesses about other businesses. And so Queen Maisha, just to tackle one of the interesting things you said, what is it going to take? Black businesses need to be able to advertise other Black businesses. We should be able to walk into Black businesses and pick up a Black businesses directory or a Black business listing, or it's like the barbershop and the beauty salon. Inside those two institutions, we're supposed to know what's all in our community. We shouldn't have to be, because that conversation moved away last night. We shouldn't be talking about what's whoever, and the shit we talk about to water cooler. So we get, like you said, Corn, we got to get up in here, because if we're not talking about, did you go check out somebody's food, or that's a Black business, or buy some clothes for somebody, or use their plumbing services, or their carpentry, or their construction services. If we always talking about Lil Wayne and Lil Kim and Cardi B, and we're not gonna make progress. Brother Takia.
Well, hold on real quick. I think in talking about people who look like us that have the mic and that kind of platform, I think it is sometimes necessary to talk about them if they're doing more damage than they're doing harm, because some people are in a sleep stage where they don't understand that music and other things of that sort is doing damage. So we have to speak on it, because even if 100% doesn't wake up, at least if a certain percent wake up because we speak on it, that was worth it.
No, from the point of view of the platform, it's a big conversation going on social media. I'm just saying, jumping into these beauty salons and these barbershops and rolling with it instead of critiquing it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think if we talk about the frequencies and the spirit of certain things, we should critique it to this front to see if it's beneficial for all our generations. And I think, me personally, a barbershop and a Black a barbershop and a beauty salon and other Black businesses should be a resource to find out what's in the community. What other better place to advertise and to market and promote other Black businesses, like within the Black businesses.
That is a really good idea. Yeah. But I was I've had my cosmetology license for over 20 years now. And most of the cosmetology.
You do hair?
Yes.
I've learned something new today. Salute, sister.
Yes. So yeah, most of the conversations in there is about.
My bad.
No, I don't do weaves. No.
I just kept. I'm trying to find out
Yes.
the natural people out there to take care of my natural when I need it. I do need it.
Yes. Yes. But now I haven't been in the salon for a while, so I do like my hair, my daughter's hair. When I go see my mom, I do her hair. So I'm not in the shop or anything right now. But yeah, when I was working in the shop, it was more you talk about, your husband, you talk about your wife, you talk about your girlfriend, you talk about your boyfriend, you talk about your problems. Like the stylist and the barber turn into a therapist, so it would be good. And then you have them for a certain amount of time. It would be good if we did start doing that, using the barbershops and the beauty salons as a way to pass message.
Because they do heads. So what's the best way to get inside somebody's head? The person who do heads.
Yes. I like to put, first of all, I think the creator didn't make this hard. I think we make it harder than it actually is, because everything we need is here. We just need to come together doing it. And I think we also got to realize that, everybody doesn't make it to the promised land, mainly because they don't even speak the language, which is the code that's coming from here. So I think I apply that also to Black business as well, and how we support the Black economic system is that every Black business ain't going either. Just like every Black person. So
your voice sound like
they just shaded you like crazy, bro. Hold on. Uh-oh. We lost him. I didn't hear what he said. Did you hear it?
No, it was all cracking up. Oh, now your mic. His mic is muted. Can you unmute it?
I'm trying. It just.
They have froze you.
There it goes. There it goes. There it goes.
They have froze you in my Asia, and I was the only one seeing myself, right? And then they took me all the way out of Zoom, and I had to get back to Zoom. This is some high tech shit. What we up against?
Exactly. So what did you say, bro? Because we didn't hear none of it.
The only thing I was saying is I said that you sound like a robot, right? They took you all the way and froze you up, and my shit looked like she was about to, and I was like, wow, I don't know how that happened. So
Yeah.
maybe I missed it, and the audience got it.
Well, let's hope so. We'll see it in the rerun, I suppose.
But I was saying, I probably gonna have a glitch-free night, but they ain't going for that tonight. Because you were saying something powerful, and I want to know what you said, brother. Because you were saying, Maisha said what she said, and I said what I said. I didn't hear none of what you said, black man.
What did I say? I was just explaining how God didn't make this hard. We're the ones making it harder than it really is, and a lot of it.
I agree.
It has to be when we're talking about connection. I mean, we do connected minds. That's part of Lower African minds. And what I was saying is, we know through our Lower African mind that everybody's not going. Just because they got the melanin, that don't always mean that they going. They're not, and Subu says it all the time. Many are called, few are chosen. So I think we need to recognize that as well, and not play, Captain Save a Business because it's black. Because, we might not connect, brother. You might be on some stuff that, your skin is black, but your ideas and your principles don't balance out to where my ideas and principles are. So I'm not just going to support you based on the fact that you're black. And, we talk about connection all the time here on this channel. And shouts out to those people that's connecting with me on the connected time to connect and, pray at the same time or meditate or just think about each other, because that's actually, I say that everybody's not going to make it because everybody don't speak the language. And that language don't come from the English test or whatever language you learn. That the language comes from a heavenly tongue. So you won't connect to that unless you're really connecting to that anyway. And so, I mean, that's how we roll around here. Everybody, that's just like how we started today's show. Everybody know that this is for our people is more important than to sit up there and say, oh, this brother has something to do. Well, guess what? Life get in the way of all of us. So we all have our moments, but if we got somebody on the team, it's just like the wide receiver that played for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know names and teams and stuff because I ain't into sports like that. I got more important stuff to handle than to try to keep statistics and sports in my head. But I do know the game. And I know the game, the whole team know that Ronnie, the receiver, ain't going to catch 100% of the balls that he need to catch for us to go to the championship. But they know it ain't going to be my fault. Everybody got that mentality, hey, if you do drop that ball, I got a plan for this. Or if it do go another way, everybody, because that mind is connected and they're a team, they know, oh, this where I feel in on that part, and boom, we settle. And so that's why we urge people all the time on every show, till y'all get tired of me doing this and start listening, please go to loyalafricanminds.com. This is where we do those things. This is where you fit in with connected people that's about manifesting real change in this world. So this is where we are. This is where we're connecting and joining as members. We got a forum over here where 24/7 we can plug in on real stuff like the Ansubu was talking about. You know, we talking about the Queen too. We talking about Jordans and all this BS that ain't gonna get us to no progressive point in our lives, which is a waste of time, which falls back on the creator made it easy. We the ones making it hard. Some Jordan. That was the carrot they threw in front of us to distract us from our real goals then. Well, of course, I can't show y'all because I ain't logged in. So as you know, membership has its privileges. You will see what kind of real stuff is being discussed in this in this forum here. It's a few subjects, few good subjects, and if you ain't a member, I ain't at liberty to tell you about it. So, like I said, you have to go to the website, register as a member. It's free. We definitely will find you. Once you register, you'll get an email okay, if it's okay. But we roll like the black NSA. We check some things out about you too before we just let you in. So, and you won't get an email on that one. You just won't get in. So that's how it is, y'all. That's my piece.
Okay. Have you guys heard of a susu?
Excuse me?
A susu.
I heard of that word before.
Okay. So it's a way for us to build wealth. And I was honestly, truly skeptical about this working. You know how we're skeptical of everything. And I was totally skeptical. And I can't even really explain it into details without leaving something out and making it sound like it's some type of gimmick. Make a long story short, my brother and my friend on the same day told me about a susu. And what it is it's nobody owns it. There's no CEO. There's nobody managing the money. What it is you gift a certain amount of money to a certain amount of Black people in your circle. But you need at least two people for you to bring it in. And no, it's not a pyramid. And what happens is the money rolls over. So my brother, he invested $500. After less than a month of rolling over the money, it turned into $4,000, where he reinvested he reinvested the additional $500 to keep it going, and the $3,500 is in his bank. And there's a video. He sent me the video, and honestly, he sent me the video like almost 2 months ago, and I didn't want to watch it. So I'm like, this is a gimmick. He's gonna get his money taken away. And the video breaks it down and explains how this works. If anybody's interested in that video, you can inbox me, Maisha Mini Hats. That's MYESHA mini-hats, and I can show you and give you the video to break this down exactly how it works. It's just mind-boggling, and I thought it still was a gimmick. Even though he has money in the bank, because they're talking about, ancient people, Caribbean people did this to build, to do businesses and to keep money in the family. And again, even though I'm hearing this, I still didn't think it was true. I think, people could say anything. This is an African thing. This is an Asian thing, whatever. But it wasn't until my mom actually told one of our friends that came here from Jamaica about 20 years ago about this. And what it is, it's different in different countries. So the one that she did in Jamaica 20 years ago actually got her enough money to buy her airplane ticket to come out here, to come to the States, and to pay for her legal paperwork to come out here in the States. This thing was rolling over out of the money. And again, there's nobody managing it. Yes, there's no percentage putting on it. It's just the idea of you rolling the money to create wealth for people who look like you. And I'm actually in a susu right now. So it's, I feel like that is something that we need, because a susu can even be as low as $20. It doesn't have to be $500 or $1,200. And it's just a way to, in my mind, to create unity and to create wealth and not ask anybody for anything. And if you're interested, go ahead.
So last Saturday at the Joint African Market on the corner of Sacramento Street and Georgia Street, Vallejo, California. At the end of the farmers market, we have the Joint African Markets. And so a brother approached me, and it was called by another name. And I want to just point out, Queen Maisha, that the Italians do it, the Russians do it, the Germans do it, different Asians do it, Hispanics do it. It's something that's been done all over the world throughout all time. We just now starting to redo it. It was done in Harlem and Chicago, and it was done in our black townships. And it was sometimes called seed money or start money. It wasn't to make you like rich, but it was enough money for those who had ingenuity and ideals, right? Where you can make an investment. And at the same time, when you did that, they had another component. What they would do, they'd buy shares from each other for a nickel or a dollar. So it was twofold, that the money was circulating, within the community. At that time, the value of a dollar was worth more. So I'm definitely looking into that. And for all those who are in the audience or who may view this, so please give them that information, how they can connect, and we can keep this economic stream flowing, because
Absolutely.
the way that they're robbing the country with these $1 trillion stimulus packages, they're pulling the shit out of their white asses, and they're full of shit. So we got to figure out on how to sustain ourselves if this motherfucker collapse. Just real talk, family.
Absolutely.
So please
Sabir,
enlighten us.
Are we able to create our own, or how does that work?
this thing is super simple. But hold on, before I answer that. So Sabir said a Susu builds trust as well. That's exactly what I'm saying. Build trust. So
our money is about trust. Eventually, that's what money was supposed to be about. Trust.
The structure is so simple, but to explain it without having like a diagram, it sounds like my shit. It's crazy. You just wasted your money. I will send you both the link. If you guys are interested, please let me know. It's super simple to put together. I recommend to do it with close family and friends, because the way it is structured, you have to reinvest the money. If you don't reinvest that initial investment, then it can collapse. You still get your money back because you got that initial first payment, but you want to keep it going because you want to keep on feeding your bank account and feeding the people who are attached to you, and that's how it keeps going. That's how you build wealth. And there's no 1-800 number to call. There's no customer service to call. It's just me telling you and informing you what to do, and then you take that information and then see how the structure is, and then we get together.
Absolutely. So we're going to go behind the scenes, and we go into the think tank in about a week or two. We'll come back to the brothers and sisters and let you know what our investigation and what our conclusion is. Because I was approached about investing $500, and the brother told me he got $4,000 back. Another brother told me that he invested $1,500, and he got $6,000 back. Another guy, when I was there, it was 3 dudes telling me, and they went in and did a group investment. So it's something that's happening, it's something that's moving, and it's worth the interest. Different economic streams. Which brings me to the next point, and I'm going to read the Loyal African Mind projections, and then I'll open up the next dialogue. The projections of Loyal African Mind. 1, Loyal African Mind projects within the next 10 years there will be 100% more self-made African scholars, which means you will need to be taught to learn how to take control of your mind. The fundamentals of learning will be outside of the traditional Western educational system, which is a tool of colonial indoctrination and the programming of African minds, curriculum. And so the ideal of Black business is not traditionally Western civilization. The ideal of us doing susu is not inside the curriculum of Western civilization. The whole idea of indoctrination of the educational mentality of a Western education is for us to go work for somebody, for us to invest in others, and for us to consume others' product. So we definitely want to educate ourselves. And that's what Chief Taiki, the Grand High Tech, always tell you, get your pen out. When you come to Law African Mind, I mean, we don't say it on a high scholarly level, but we say it in a way where this is some information that you could write down and it can be useful. The sister just told us, right? People are investing blocks of 500. What if the money build up and they start investing 5,000 and they start getting 50,000 back? It's going to reach that type of level where we're going to start creating millionaires. So be smart. Let's get our thought process together. And with that mentioned, I want to take the topic into an area that's connected, okay? And I got to read the second part too. We are predicting within the next 5 years, there will be 1,000% increase in African businesses and entrepreneurship that must be prepared to integrate into the financial markets and financial markets and within North America markets, as well as the global economics. So we were talking about business and we're talking about money. And it's a lot of groups talking about the new Wall Street. And we were on our way, and then Donald Trump got elected. We were on our way, then COVID-19. I mean, just think about it, family. I'm just going to put the framework there. In 2019 was the return to Africa. People were having those discussions at the water cooler. Are you going? Are you staying here? I'm Native American. I'm more. The discussion started. Then some people went and they bought property and things were starting to jump off. And other people saying, I'm going to go. Well, we need to start a business. And so the COVID-19 kind of like shut everything down. And then so we start speaking on social media. Hey, this is the time for you to study. This is time for you and your family to come up with a plan. You got to come out of this with your own business. You got to, you got to do things in a new way. Now, the point I'm bringing up with all that, in order for us to have a new way, they're going to reelect Donald Trump or they're going to get him out of office. So our next subject is voting. Let me correct the table this right. Voting, its pros, its cons, because eventually we're going to get into this excitement that they have about Kamala Harris. She went from the city of Oakland, immigrant parents, Indian and Jamaican, came to the United States, settled in the Bay Area, founded roots in Oakland, became a prosecutor, turned into a district attorney, came into the attorney general, became a senator, and also ran for president and gave them a run for their money. And here we are. Joe Biden, the pedophile, and Donald Trump, the rapist, are at a war. And Pence is Trump man, and Kamala Harris is Biden's. But this is historical. A woman, a black woman. So let's start off with the pros and cons of voting, and then we'll move into the pros and cons of Senator Kamala Harris.
How do we follow that? Most definitely.
But let's go into the pros. Let's go into the pros and cons of voting. We have London Bree in San Francisco. We have a black mayor that's a female in Chicago. We have another black mayor that's a female in Atlanta. We had a sister that ran for mayor here in Oakland. We didn't get a strong turnout to put that sister in office. And so we start with Queen Maisha. She's up there in the Sacramento area. They had Kevin Johnson in office, I think, for 3 terms.
Something like that.
And when I met Maisha, I believe we had Black Mayor Osby Davis in office when I met you out here in Vallejo. Is that correct, Maisha?
I'm not sure at that time. That was a while ago.
2015. 2015. You know, I got elephant in my blood. I remember everything. You know. So, does our vote make a difference to the development of our community? Have anybody seen a significant difference in the way our communities are managed, and the way our environments are upkept, by action of our vote?
I think we missed the vote for the most part because most Black people usually only vote for the president, and that's probably maybe the only time they vote, not realizing they got to, you know, go through that legislative ladder to be able to actually make change. So I think I believe voting can be important for us if we do it right. I mean, we need to vote for more than just the president. We got to vote for everybody we want to get in there. Just like you talking Kamala Harris and her cabinet, and you know we had Hakeem Brown on last week sometime, and the part of territory that he's trying to claim. I mean, we doing some things, and I think that those are the places we probably need to target as Black people in that voting area. We need to be out actively, because I mean, it's that much easier to inspect somebody like Hakeem Brown or Kevin Johnson because they're in your area, and you can actually, you know, you catch a brother doing some out of pocket stuff. Right there, you already know, oh, that's how he really is. But when you voting for the president and all them people, you don't really follow them around to know what kind of person he is. And they usually turn out to be totally different than the person you voted for in the first place. So I think, and then we get mad, but we don't really understand that as a president, even, they're still only limited to so much power. And there's only so much things that they can do. And if we're not even pressing our leadership to do something, which is what Obama claimed was his thing, the Black people didn't come to him with anything that they wanted, and the LGBT, however you say them letters, they did come to him, and so he had that little rainbow thing. So I think educating ourselves about voting is more important than voting itself, because then we can actually make the choices. I mean, I can make the choice not to vote just because I'm interested in swaying the vote another way. So it's not really voting or not voting, in my opinion. I think it's knowing about how that whole voting system works and using it to your advantage.
So I have to be in agreement with you under this guise that if we groom somebody from our community with an agenda to be on the board of supervisors or to be on the city council or to be alderman or mayor or city manager, and they went in with an agenda. And so the trouble with the Black vote is we're just casting votes.
Right.
But we're not voting for agenda. We're voting for a person. Analogy. It's like a personality code. It's like a Jim Jones. It's like, you know, do we want the Pope or do we want the Queen of England? You know, do we want Donald Trump or do we want Joe Biden? And so nobody has came to the floor and articulated what the agenda is and what do this vote brings into our environment. And my ancestors died to vote. We keep hearing that call. Died to vote for what? You know, to be kicked out, to not get no loans, to be ostracized in Congress, because the Congressional Black Congress is quiet as a motherfucker. I don't even know what their platform is. I don't even know what their agenda is. I don't even know what the fuck they do. But back in the 60s, they had a And back in the 60s, they had a strong voice. And back in the 70s, they had a strong voice because they told us and they came amongst us and they told us what they were trying to get. Jobs, development, community centers, more books in the school, more music, more sports equipment. We wanted to have a process where if you're excelling, we can get you scholarships. I mean, there were so many things on the table in the 60s and the 70s that got removed during the what they call the war on drugs, because they defunded the things that made us progress, and they gave the funds somewhere else on this war from drugs. But here we are again. Donald Trump, he wants to fund another war on drugs. He's sending the feds in, right? He told us,
Shalom, when you're done, I got something to say about all that. Go ahead, though.
No, I'm finished. I can run my mouth over and over. I was waiting for you to jump
I
in.
know.
It's like double
I
dutch.
know.
You're fucking with me. It's like double dutch. You got to get in when you fit in.
So
I'm
I
check
have a
the
kind of a different.
audience right quick,
Go
okay?
ahead. Yeah, I've been looking. Sabir's still in here with us. Who else is here with us? Doran Taylor is in here with us. So okay, so my view on all this
WAWWA.
is I am not big on voting. I respect people's choices. If there's somebody yapping in my face, you better vote, you better get that sticker, you better make changes. That sounds like my mom. I respect that. Go vote. If I just moved, so I did not get a ballot sent to me this year. Will I vote? I don't know. I'll see how I feel that morning or from now until then. I don't know. I kind of feel like what is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We got to realize that we are in a European built society from government on down. I think the focus really needs to be looking into ourselves as a community and not focused on who is in the office right now, focused on building ourselves and creating an environment where we teach our kids about the government, how it works, why laws are important, why they're not important, and we should elect groom people in our community to push them into these different positions from the city on up to Washington, D.C. Groom them and also fund them with money. So now it's just not somebody coming out the clear blue sky and saying, hey, vote for me. No, we groomed you as a people. Now your job is to do something for us. I think sitting back here and voting and thinking that's going to really help and not really knowing the fundamentals of how things are put together and not knowing the history and the insanity that we've already been in, I just don't buy into it. And I also think that it's a spiritual thing too. Everything's in divine order.
Right.
You can have someone who mimics the most evil person in the position of in the presidency, but everything's in divine order.
Right.
Everything's in divine order. I think as Black people, if we get out of this negativity, because we're very negative. Anything that you put in our face, oh, why is it like that? Da, 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 da. Very negative. Moving that attitude and saying no matter what, no matter who's in there, who matter who's not in there, we're gonna push forward and unify, and we're gonna make a difference no matter who's in there. So me voting, if you want to vote, yay for you. If you don't want to vote, don't vote, yay for you. It's about unifying and trying to prep ourselves and getting educated and putting somebody in that office that we groomed and we selected to do our agenda. Because you can say whatever you want to say before you're elected in, and who's actually been in there who actually has truly helped us. There's been some people who've done a few things, but really truly talked about our agenda.
And so
they usually get shot in the head. Wait, hold on. They usually get shot in the head. Just saying.
one of the key things that you said, and I firmly believe in, I know to be true, we have to groom. We have to groom those from our community to be in local government and also in county government and state government, even if it's not the president's cabinet. We definitely have to do something that nobody's talking about. We have to write these representatives and senators, but we need to write them, as a what is that called when you go get a whole bunch of signatures?
Petition.
Petition.
Okay, so we need to have a whole bunch of different petitions and send it to each prospective representative saying this is what the people feel. Because if not, they're going to go ahead and be with the special interest groups that has a plan already in place. And I'm just going to go like right here. When Kevin Johnson ran, we thought there was going to be some change in Sacramento. Special interest groups wanted to rezone areas of Sacramento, and we've seen the rise of the Thomas. We've seen the reshaping of downtown. Same thing under Governor Brown and what's the guy that was before him, Mr. Dinkins. And we've seen that they reshaped the downtown and they neglected West Oakland and East Oakland. And we see the mayor before London Breed, how they restructured the financial district in downtown San Francisco, and they forgot about Hunters Point and Fillmore, and the different locations. And so
They didn't forget about it. They just don't care.
well, I'm just saying the elected officials,
Yeah.
they get in office often telling us some change, and then when they get in office, we don't apply any legislative pressure or come with an agenda, right, to move the tax money that goes into the annual budget to be redistributed into, because we don't want block grants, we want community development grants. And we don't want outside contractors. We want contractors from our own community to be bidding on these grants, and we want to be able to have an equalization board to approve who received the money to develop our community. But our communities cannot be developed if there's no planning, no development planning board. You're going to get some white collar students, or you're going to get some corporation to come in and they're going to have the plans, they're going to have the blueprints, because we have to do more than be emotional. We have to do more than just spend money.
Absolutely.
We have to know what the fucking infrastructure is. What is a city? Not that I live in a city, but no, go read and find out what the fuck is a city. How does it operate? Who is the councilman? What do they do? What do the people under them do? Right? Where did the budget come from? Where do it go? And how do they select what projects is going to take precedent? And what communities, right, want your percentage of the city budget? And how do they trick our communities out of the city budget, right? And we need to start putting these, can I say the word? Is it niggas, Uncle Tom, or coons, or sellout, or, I use the drugs and I sold drugs, so I'm not pointing the finger. But the point I'm making, we need to hold people who get in position accountable to the platform that we asked them to run on. If we did not ask them to run on, how do you hold somebody accountable?
And what's holding someone accountable? If we vote them into the position and they don't do what they promised to us, what do we hope? What do we do?
Okay, give you an instance. Brother Hakeem Brown. From me, I mentioned to the brother, if you ran for mayor, I would support you and my organization would support you. Ain't nobody perfect. But let's talk about zoning, right? I can't, City of Vallejo has been dealing with its police department ever since it's been a city. It's been dealing with the old school money that controls it. But one thing we can ask about zoning, it's so hard for us to lease or rent in the economic zones. And it's so hard for us as an African community to create our own economic zone. So let's deal with the zoning. and let's deal with the let's deal with buildings that's been sitting abandoned, right? And you got these owners, a circle of like 30 motherfuckers that own a lot of property, and they just hold these empty buildings. Do the city, is there a mechanism that say, hey, the building is not accumulating any money by just sitting there, and you want $7,000 for the rent? Is there a way the city can say, hey, let them get in at 1,200? And gradually, as we make an economical shift, right? Maybe the rent can go up, but somehow, somewhere, our interest has to be answered. And economically, we're not the strongest when it comes to renting and leasing. We might be the strongest when it comes to buying Nikes and iPhones, and Brazilian hair, but in that corporate level and that economic interest, and that we need a strategy. When you asked a good question, Maisha, I don't even have an answer, but that's something that I have to go study.
Let me put a disclaimer on what Dan Subu just said, because stuff be deep, and we probably finna start charging for some of these lessons, because so you people that get it, I'm gonna put this disclaimer in that the eyes of Ma'at watch over and protect all our creation. So don't try to bite the knowledge that you heard on lawafterminds.com, because we a place where we're not just parroting something we heard from somebody else, or saying the same thing that the crowd is talking about, or whatever. But it's us connected minds fitting in and adding ourselves to a connected system that's just putting out that creation. So it's all protected, but we have to put that disclaimer in and let people know that y'all ain't gonna take this information and try to say it was yours. Disclaimer's there, but like I said, my aunt watches over and protects all of our creations. That being said, we had a final thoughts moment. So we're gonna go to the Queen with that. Final thoughts on everything we've been talking about. We just kind of, kicked back today and carried the ball across the goal line for our other soulmates out there that's got other things dealing with in their lives and situations. And that's how it is, y'all. Low African Minds. Go ahead, Queen.
My final thoughts, I think, and this is just things that pop into my head. So my daughter, at 9 years old, she's a really good writer. She's already wrote three novels. She reads all the time. I think it's really important to, if we see a child that is interested in something, to groom them towards it. And this goes back into politics. If it would be nice if we could select children who we see, like writer, my daughter being a writer and a good reader, above her grade level, and as a community, groom them. So in 10, 12, 13 years, when she's able to run for something, she's already groomed. It's just not a roll of the dice. You have to plan things. So I think anyone listening to me, I think that's another key point into moving our community forward. If you see that your child is excelling in any little thing that can better our community, groom them, and people around them groom them. So then we can have a stronger generation behind us.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Absolutely wonderful. Eloquently spoken. Yes.
And Subu, final thoughts before we wrap it up. Oh, and I also wanted to say, we forgot again, I keep forgetting this, and hopefully as we have connection time more and connect with each other, y'all can send the vibration of brother. Let's open up with some type of acknowledgement of the creator. Some people call it prayer, some people call it meditation, whatever, but let's acknowledge the creator's presence in our work. Even before we agreed we would start the shows out that way, but it's taken a minute for us to, your mind's running and, oh, I got this show, and oh, I got all the stuff I'm gonna talk about in the topic, and this has to happen and that has to happen, and you forget that, like I said earlier, the creator didn't make this hard. We keep making it hard. The creator's there to bless your work and make multiply everything you do. You just have to acknowledge, you know. So I definitely want to put that. Y'all forgive me, but we working on doing that at the beginning. Our openings, we go at least for a brief moment recognize the creator's presence in our conversation. Go ahead, Ansubu.
And I'm going to do a quick one. Almighty Creator. Some call you Allah, some call you Yahweh. I call you Allah. But you are the Creator all by yourself. There are many languages and ethnic groups that call out to you. You bless who you choose. And we thank you for blessing us with a sound mind, a vision, and a heart to do good on this planet. But there is no movement in growth that is beyond your wisdom. So we ask you to provide your will and your wisdom and knowledge to the Lord of Command, to its members, and to the people that we speak to, and to us worldwide as we build the community. Amen and the one and the
Absolutely.
Moody be Ashe.
So this is and I'm glad you said that. I'm going to finish reading the document. I'm going to do it in a fashionable moment real quick. It says, all predictions starting with the year 2020, the African mental and cultural algorithm, which is a process where certain rules must be followed, that will integrate all African cultures into one global African mindset. And from that process, Africa will display a mindset of global African culture, thus producing worldwide Africa / African unity culture. 4, we project as we advance into the year of 2024 and beyond, we as Africans will socialize with other Africans using Swahili as the basic and primary language for socialization and civics. 5, we declare within the Lord of mind that we are spiritual beings. That's why we got to keep praying. We declare within the Lord of mind that we are spiritual beings habitating on earth as living Nubian souls. There are three realities of a Nubian soul, spirituality. 1, the physical reality of a Nubian soul is that it occupies the original African body that comes from the DNA and RNA of the Nile Valley. 2, the mental reality of a Nubian soul is the intellect that involves the pituitary gland and the intelligence that is housed in the pineal gland. The mental goal of a Nubian soul is to connect the pituitary with the pineal gland that produces a divine radius of divine frequency. That mental connection brings forth A, supreme wisdom, B, divine knowledge, C, superior understanding, D, a super understanding. They all operate as the goddess guides, meaning that the God has pushed us out as to be guides, but you got to recognize the sister first. The spiritual reality of a Nubian soul is Ma'at, which is the science of spirituality of the spiritual sciences. Thank you for allowing me to read information about Lower African Mind. You can connect with us on the webpage. And with that, I'm going to say, WAWWA, we love you, Queen Maisha, for coming on. She has her own show, but she was right about time. We look forward to seeing D-Dan Kamati, the General, and Queen Ka Nuba, so-called Latoya, on the next episode. They got a real powerful presentation they're going to bring us, and I can't wait to be a part of it. And thank you, Chief Taiki, the Grand High Tech, for always keeping us in operation, for stopping all the glitches and keeping us moving forward. New Maki Wawa.
Umaki Wawa.